You all know that Scar is a nasty villain because he killed Mufasa and ravaged the Pride Lands and appeared as a fire spirit to cause havoc even after his death in the Lion Guardian series. But if I say that who Scar is, it's partly the fault of the animals around him that ultimately made him that way. It all starts with childhood. Scar and Mufasa's father, Ahadi, was the king of the Pride Parade and raised his sons. But as it turned out, Ahadi chose Simba to be the heir to his throne because of his gift of physical strength, and Mufasa got intelligence and genius rather than strength. His genius will be shown and seen throughout the plot of The Lion King. Accordingly, the younger son Scar received less attention, and Ahadi looked more at Simba. Also, Ahadi could not pay attention to Scar because one day there was a drying up in the pride. By the way, Scar's real name is Taka, which means dirt or garbage in Swahili, seeds of hate and envy. They had been planted in him already as a child and began to grow bigger and bigger. Scar was always organizing and plotting some scheme to mess with Mufasa, but his attempts failed, and because of that, his anger and hatred grew and grew. Scar was appointed as the leader of the Pride Land protectors and also had a natural gift of growling. However, when he wanted to win over the other lions, he led to remove Mufasa from the throne. However, they refused to do so, and Scar used the growl against his subordinates, whereupon he was stripped of the growl because he used it for evil purposes. A sense of inferiority, Scar's very name, stands for his past traumas, both physical and psychological. It is a reminder of a moment that left a mark on him forever, a moment that shaped his view of the world and his place in it. Where Mufasa was a beacon of strength, pride, and leadership, Scar was in the shadows, carrying the weight of comparisons and unfulfilled expectations. Mufasa had everything Scar craved: the love and admiration of others, fame, and most importantly, the title of king. He wanted to break free from the shadow Mufasa cast over him, a shadow that embodied everything Scar felt he had been unfairly denied. This latent resentment and hunger for recognition laid the foundation for his villainy. Scar didn't just want the throne, he wanted to rewrite the history of his life. Why is Scar the best Disney villain? Scar is one of the most compelling Disney villains for several reasons. First of all, he exudes a sinister aura that is both mesmerizing and chilling. His charisma and genius ability to rally a pack of hyenas and turn them into tools of his ambition is a testament to his genius for manipulation. Scar's plan to seize the throne is surprisingly well thought out. His plan was so well worked out and thought out that even Sarabi, the queen of the Pride, had no reason to overthrow Scar. Another reason is how Scar, through his talent of intelligence and cunning, was able to strike fear into all the beasts, and even, if you remember, the effect on the adult Simba in the form of a nightmare, even after defeating him himself. His selfish and narcissistic personality makes Scar a nasty villain, and it is genius on Disney's part to make him one that even causes our viewers to detest or even admire the character. So, how did Taka get Scar after all? There are two versions. The first is that he got the scar when he disobeyed his father Ahadi when he was still alive, expressing all his resentment to his father and saying that he would join the hyenas. Ahadi, out of anger, attacked Taku and gave him the scar on his face. The second version is more true because in his song in the series Lion Guard, he explains in it that his friend deceived him and led him to the cobra snake Ushari, which subsequently made the scar on his face. Scar's multifaceted character. What really sets Scar apart is the complexity of his character. These traits that I mentioned in the video make him not just a villain, but a tragic victim who seems to have been forced by the universe to be a villain whose actions, while despicable, are understandable in the context of his life. It is this complexity that has kept Scar an iconic antagonist. He epitomizes the dark side of ambition and the destructive power of envy. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of letting resentment and lust for power consume one's soul. Why was Scar right? If you think about it that way, Mufasa himself can't be considered better than Scar. Mufasa discriminated against the hyenas, who are also important in the food chain he told Simba so much about. It has always been the notion of the lions in the pride that the leader or king is the one who overthrows the other. That is, if you are the lion leader of the pride and you are overpowered, then you are no longer king according to the laws of nature, even with such evil plans that Scar did with the hyenas. Bottom line, hate, anger, and envy are the driving factors that consumed Scar and with which he became Disney's iconic antagonist. Of course, from the outside, it's easy for us to say that Scar just had to work hard to get what he wanted, or that we wouldn't be in his shoes. But we should not forget that childhood trauma and lack of attention from his father leaves a deep imprint in the mind. Thus, it is reflected in the character and essence of what happened to Scar. Justified and clear motives, perfect execution of the role of the villain in the plot, and most importantly, the prescription of Scar in the franchise, all this and form him as the best villain. Lastly, the way Scar was able to influence his followers during his villainy, and even after his death, the fruits of his genius and charisma among the evil beasts makes our characters fight Scar even after his death. Could things have been different? If Scar had gotten on the good side of pride initially, all of his genius mind would have helped the Pride lands and circle of life greatly. Say to prevent desiccations, conflicts, or strategies from attack by other predators. Such an outcome as good Scar might well have been if someone had spoken to him or noticed his talent, which then suppressed the envy and resentment that had been building up in him. Today I've pronounced the name Scar a lot, even though he was introduced to us while watching as a nasty and disgusting antagonist. But in this video, I presented him from a different side. By the way, I got all the information from other sources such as books and comic books besides the cartoon and serial itself. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos, and also if you like the episode,